ZANU-PF spokesperson, that's Kennedy Mandaza, who joins us on the line from Johannesburg. Good afternoon, Kennedy, and thank you for your time on the SABC News Desk.
Thank you and welcome.
Kennedy, let's start with the turnout at the stadium in Harare. Did it meet your expectations?
It was not really to our expectation. We would have loved to have more, but understandably, people have been thronging in the Rufaro Stadium for 2 consecutive days, that is on Thursday and Friday. And the majority of the people from various provinces had paid their condolences and done their body viewing. And those that braved the weather today to come to the National Stadium did so in support of what the former president did, but would have loved to have more people attending.
What kind of legacy do you think, Kennedy, that Robert Mugabe has left us? He's been described again and again by various African leaders as a founding father of Zimbabwe, an intellectual, a luminary on the continent. But the reality is that he was a deeply polarizing figure in Zimbabwean society.
Something that we will not take away from the former president is that he was an ardent educationist. He is a man of principle who did all that he could for both Zimbabwe and Africa.
Then why didn't more people turn out at the stadium to bid him farewell, Kennedy? If he's
like
as much loved as you're saying he is.
Many people attended the Thursday and Friday events, and as a result, I would like to believe that they were giving an opportunity to those who had not attended. And we still have the Mashonaland West people having an opportunity to bid farewell to the president, to the former president tomorrow in Zimbabwe. So that's possibly the reason why that kind of an attendance today.
All right, he is, to his credit, seen as a liberator, who most definitely is, who worked for the economic emancipation for black Zimbabweans. But what in your mind will he be, if you're truthful with yourself, will he be most remembered for at this juncture? Because there were also the land invasions, rigged elections, and a host, numerous human rights abuses in the country during his time as president, during his 40-year hold on power.
Like I had already indicated, the former president will be remembered for the education that he gave to the people of Zimbabwe. And besides that, there is no other country on the continent of Africa with people who own their land other than Zimbabweans. That will be credited to the former president, who made sure that he resolutely attended to the reasons why the majority of people went to war. And regardless of the manner in which it happened, the land reform program had to take place in order to address the concerns which were there in respect to the disparities of the land distribution in Zimbabwe, in which very few people owned land at the expense of the black majority who resides in Zimbabwe, who are the owners of that land. But over and above that, the legacy of the president, of the former president, will also touch on what he stood for to make sure that there is unity among its own nationalities and nations in Africa. That is why wherever he went, he spoke so candidly of the need for Africans to own solutions to African problems.
Kennedy, if you like, you're saying he spent a great deal of time and effort on education and uplifting the people of Zimbabwe. Why then did he seek healthcare outside the country?
Admittedly, there are other areas that did not go well during that particular time, particularly after attending to the land question. There were sanctions which were imposed by those that did not take it easily to the redistribution of land. And this accounted to the decline of the health system, and because of no ordinarily countries get from the International Monetary Fund, from the World Bank, and so on. That led to the decline of some of the services that were needed. But over and above that, we cannot take away the fact that the world is now a global village. Anyone can seek assistance anywhere in the world for as long as you can afford that particular service. And the healthcare is one of those services. If you could afford to be in Singapore, I don't think that people would be grudging for that.
Kennedy, how best is ZANU-PF going to remember a leader of this caliber, a very multifaceted, complex character at this point?
We will always remember the former president of the party and the country as a fighter, a principled man who was consistent in what he wanted. He was a person who would want to see what he has started up to completion, and not zeroing on education and other things that we have said already. Would also remember him as a person who united the Zimbabwe. The unity accord that was signed in 1987. It was at the behest of Comrade Robert Mugabe and the late Comrade Joshua Nkomo, who came together to unite Zimbabweans so that we can continue to work as a people to transform the economy. And one other thing that we will always remember for the former president is that he wanted the Zimbabweans and the Africans to be masters of their own destiny. And in ZANU-PF, that will be critical and fundamental in whatever we are going to do to make sure that we take up what he had started.
ZANU-PF spokesperson Kennedy Mandaza on the line from Johannesburg there. Thank you, Kennedy, for your time on the SABC News Desk.